A non-council race, the Krogan are one of the most formidable and resilient species within the Milky Way galaxy, and one of my favourite. The reasons for this can be found in their biology and homeworld. The Krogan are a species of large reptilian bipeds native to the planet Tuchanka, a world known for its harsh environments, scarce resources, and overabundance of vicious predators. Due to the brutality of their surroundings, natural selection has played a significant role in the evolution of the Krogan. Unlike most sentient species, Krogan eyes are wide set. On Earth, this is common among prey animals, and in this case, it gives the Krogan 240-degree vision, giving them greater visual acuity and awareness of approaching predators. Krogan eyes have narrow pupils. Their irises may be red, green, amber, or blue in colour. Prior to the genophage, Krogan could reproduce and mature at an astonishing rate. Females are known to produce clutches of up to 1,000 fertilized eggs over the course of a year. In present conditions, according to Edie, the odds of a Krogan successfully giving birth to 2 females stand at 1 in 2,000. Their large shoulder humps store fluids and nutrients, enabling them to survive extended periods without food or water. A bigger shoulder hump is seen as a sign of high status, showing how successful an individual Krogan is at hunting. Their thick hides are virtually impervious to cuts, scrapes, or contusions, and they are highly resistant to environmental hazards, including toxins, radiation, and extreme heat and cold. Consequently, their diets can include food and drink, which would prove very dangerous to other species, a fact reflected in the Krogan liquor of choice, Ricknall. Younger Krogan have yellow or green markings on their hides. These markings darken to brown or tan over time, showing their age. Krogan typically stand over 7 feet tall. Heavy creatures, Krogan have been known to weigh at least 150 kilos. Upwards of nearly 200 kilos for above average specimens. Some particularly large Krogan weigh in at around 800 pounds, which is the equivalent of 362 kilos. Biotic individuals are rare, though those that do possess the talent typically have strong abilities. The most amazing physiological feature of Krogan biology, though, is the multiple instances of major organs. These secondary systems are capable of serving as backups in the event of damage to the primary organ. They have, for example, 2 hearts, 4 lungs, and 4 testicles. This reflects in their slang, where they often speak about a quad, where a human would use the words balls or pair. Krogan also have a secondary nervous system using a neuroconductive fluid, meaning that they are almost impossible to paralyze. Krogan bleed a yellow or orange fluid when shot, which may be this fluid or actual blood. Aside from redundant systems, the legendary Krogan blood rage adds to the race's reputation for being notoriously difficult to kill or incapacitate in normal combat scenarios. In this state, Krogan become totally unresponsive to pain and will fight to the death, regardless of injury level, with the side effect of reducing their capacity for logic and self-control. Sheer physical hardiness means an individual Krogan can expect to live for centuries. Krogan can live for well over 1,000 years, as evidenced by Warlord Okia, a veteran of the Krogan rebellions who died well over 1,000 years after the rebellions ended. Despite their natural propensity for toughness, Krogan do have physical weaknesses. According to Zayed Masani, if one lodges a knife at a certain spot near the frontal plate of a Krogan's head, the plate can be ripped off. It is apparently the one thing that Krogan do fear. It is fair to say that the Krogan have played a crucial role in the development of galactic society and the preservation of galactic peace and stability at key points in its history. You would think, therefore, that the Krogan would have been made a council race long before the Turians. However, it is because of their turbulent history with the council races that they are both respected and feared as a species. And if we look at their history prior to Mass Effect 2, when Andromeda begins, we can understand why. Ancient Krogan society was once rich with cultural, architectural, and artistic accomplishments. However, the Krogan birth rate exploded despite the natural limits of their predatory homeworld once they achieved industrialization. Technology made life too easy for them, so when they looked for new challenges, they found those in each other. Wars were fought over dwindling resources as the Krogan expanded. 4,000 years ago, at the dawn of the Krogan nuclear age, battles to claim these small pockets of territory capable of sustaining life escalated into full-scale global war. Weapons of mass destruction were unleashed, transforming Tuchanka into a radioactive wasteland. The Krogan were reduced to primitive warring clans, struggling to survive a nuclear winter of their own creation, a state that continued until they were discovered by the Solarians 2,000 years later. The Krogan were liberated from their primitive state by the Solarians, who culturally uplifted the race by giving them advanced technology and relocating them to a planet not cursed with lethal levels of radiation, toxins, or deadly predators. The Solarians even gave the Krogan the means to stabilize Tuchanka's atmosphere by means of the Shroud. But the Solarian intervention was not without an ulterior motive. At the time, the Citadel was engaged in a prolonged galactic war with the Rachni, a race of intelligent spacefaring insects. The Solarians hoped the Krogan would join the Citadel forces as soldiers to stand against an otherwise unstoppable foe. The plan worked to perfection. Within 2 generations, the rapidly breeding Krogan had the numbers not only to drive back the advancing Rachni, but the ability to enjoy the harsh conditions of the Rachni worlds. They were able to pursue them to their homeworlds, find the Rachni queens, and eradicate the entire species. For a brief period, the Krogan were hailed as the saviors of the galaxy and were given not only the conquered Rachni worlds, but other planets in Citadel space to colonize, in gratitude for their help. The Citadel Council even commissioned a statue for the Presidium, the Krogan monument, to honor the Krogan soldiers who died defending Citadel space. But without the harsh conditions of Tuchanka to keep their numbers in check, the Krogan population swelled to unprecedented numbers. Overcrowded and running out of resources, the Krogan spread out to forcibly claim other worlds already inhabited by races loyal to the Citadel. The final straw was when the Krogan began settling the Asari colony of Lucia. When the council ordered them to leave, Overlord Krudak, the Krogan ambassador, stormed out of the chambers, daring the Citadel races to take their worlds back. War broke out soon afterward. The resultant Krogan rebellions continued for nearly 3 centuries. The Krogan sustained massive casualties, but their incredible birth rate kept their population steadily increasing. Victory seemed inevitable. In desperation, the council turned to the recently discovered Taurian hierarchy for aid. The Taurians unleashed the genophage on the Krogan homeworlds, a terrifying bioweapon engineered by the Solarians. The genophage caused nearly total infant mortality in the Krogan species, with only 1 birth in every 1,000 producing live offspring. No longer able to replenish their numbers, the Krogan were forced to accept terms of surrender. For their role in quelling the Krogan rebellions, the Taurians were rewarded with a seat on the Citadel Council. The Krogan, on the other hand, still suffer from the incurable effects of the genophage. Over the last millennium, Krogan numbers have steadily declined, leaving them a scattered and dying people. Some try bizarre treatments for the genophage, including testicle transplants, but faced with the certainty of their extinction as a species, most Krogan have become individualistic and completely self-interested. They typically serve as mercenaries for hire for the highest bidder, though many still resent and despise the Citadel races that condemn them to their tragic fate. Rex comments disdainfully that clubs, bars, and brothels often try to hire Krogan bouncers, reducing his people to some kind of status symbol. Despite announcements about failed Krogan-funded research in the genophage by 2183, most Krogan have not worked towards a cure, as they are more interested in combat than science. Unless one is discovered and used, the extinction of the Krogan seems inevitable. In 2185, Morden Solus explains that the Krogan are in fact evolving to undo the damage of the genophage. To prevent overpopulation, Morden's Special Task Force Group team created and applied a modified version of the genophage, which he claims will keep the population down but still allows for a viable population, indicating that the Krogan race isn't as doomed as they believe. Morden states that both the original and new genophage were designed to stabilize the Krogan birth rate at pre-industrial levels, 1 viable birth per 1,000. Given the huge Krogan birth rate, it would appear that the enormously violent nature of Krogan culture is actually responsible for their dwindling numbers. Ironically, this means that if the Krogan were not so convinced that they as a species are doomed, and consequently spent less time roaming the galaxy spoiling for a fight, their numbers might increase. They are essentially being killed by their own fatalism. The harsh Krogan homeworld conditioned the Krogan psychologically for toughness, just as it did the body. Krogan have always had a tendency to be selfish, unsympathetic, and blunt. Sometimes when Krogan disagree, one of them will headbutt the other to show dominance. They respect strength and self-reliance, and are neither surprised nor offended by treachery. Their worst insult is to call someone not worth killing. The weak and selfless do not live long in their culture. Looking out for number one is simply a matter of course. Krogan have powerful territorial instincts which serve them well in combat, but can create problems when travelling on starships. For example, Krogan find sharing quarters nearly impossible. Most Krogan trust and serve no one but themselves. This solitary attitude stems in part from a deep sense of fatalism and futility, a profound social effect of the genophage. Not only are they angry that the entire galaxy seems out to get them, the Krogan are also generally pessimistic about their race's chances of survival. The surviving Krogan see no point to building for the future. The Krogan live with a generally violent and short-sighted attitude of personal gain. Female Krogan rarely leave their homeworlds, focusing on breeding in an attempt to keep the Krogan numbers from declining too quickly. The few remaining fertile females who can carry young to term are treated as prizes of war to be seized, bartered, or fought over. Recently, it has been noted that the females of the Krogan species live in the clans separate from that of the males. Envoys are sent out from the female clans to determine who amongst the males is worthy to visit the female clans. Due to the effects of the genophage and the lack of fertile females, this happens often, and many male Krogan sire children from one female. Krogan females also appear much more level-headed than males, the brains to their brawn, so to speak. Krogan children are raised within the females' camps. On occasion, the females send them over to the males for training. If a male wishes to claim his offspring, he can request the right of parentage. Marks of the Krogan psyche are present and can be observed in their architecture and infrastructure. Ancient Krogan built towering pyramids, gigantic monuments and cities, complete with interior paintings of what would be called art. Millennia later, the ruins haven't yet been lost to the ravages of time and survived to remind the latter-day Krogan of their glory days. Every Krogan building is built huge and to last. At the present day, even hospitals are built strong enough to withstand a bunch of Krogan undergoing blood rage. Blocky ruins litter Tuchanka's surface, a portion of them still livable by Krogan standards. Krogan are divided into numerous clans. Membership in a clan allows a Krogan to own property, join the army, and apply to serve under a battle master. Young Krogan undergo a rite of passage that is overseen by a shaman representative to the clan the Krogan wishes to join. In Clan Erdnok, for example, this rite consists of battling various wild fauna on Tuchanka, ending with an encounter with a Thresher Maw. Merely surviving for 5 minutes is considered proof of worthiness, but killing the Thresher Maw increases the initiate's prestige and standing. Few outsiders have seen a rite of passage take place, even though there are no rules in Krogan tradition that state that a non-Krogan can't help with the undertaking of the rite by acting as the participant's krant. Krogan names are composed of 2 parts, a clan name followed by a given name. At birth, Krogan are identified by their given name only. A clan name is bestowed after Krogan complete the rite of passage of the clan they wish to join. Let's talk a little bit about religion. Krogan are not shown to have strong religious beliefs. The closest they come is to establish ritualistic burial grounds called the Hollows, where the skulls of their ancestors are displayed to remind them of where we all come from and where we all go. The Hollows are as sacred as any Krogan place can be, and violence there is forbidden. Ancient Krogan deities include Vol, a god who stood watch for the enemies of his pantheon. The planet Vol is named for this god, and its moons are named for Vol's myriad eyes and ears. Krogan are also shown to believe in some form of afterlife. Several Krogan mention a place called the Void, which Krogan go to when they die. Additionally, the planet Krogan takes its name from a mythological paradise in which honorable Krogan warriors feast on the internal organs of their enemies. Krogan tradition is steeped in ritual. When a Krogan is born, he suffers from the rite of life. When he comes of age, he undergoes the rite of passage. If he wishes to be considered for breeding, he must take the rite of honor, and when facing a new enemy, the rite of first is invoked. Positions of power also bear the responsibility of more rites, like being a clan leader or a shaman. The rite of passage and all other rites and traditions are preserved by the clan shaman. A shaman can be of either gender, though they must undergo lengthy and torturous rites to assume the position, and is required to give up their name. Because of this level of commitment, the shaman is one of the most respected members of a clan. The Krogan have at least two ways of formally dealing with their dead. Suicides are left for scavengers to feed upon. Another is via funeral pyres. While the shaman eulogizes the dead and symbolically consigns it to the void, known instances of the pyre include Krogan who have died a particularly valorous death, for example by saving the future of the entire race. Finally, let's look at the government and the military. The Krogan homeworld of Tuchanka is divided into multiple nation-states. After their defeat in the rebellions, the very concept of Krogan leadership was discredited. Where a warlord could once command enough power to bring entire solar systems to heel and become overlord, these days it is rare for a single leader to have more than 1,000 soldiers swear allegiance to him. It is speculated that their instinctive aggression and territorial nature prevent the Krogan from forming any kind of centralized government or parliament that is not based on fear or obedience. In terms of military, traditional Krogan tactics were built on attritional mass unit warfare. Equipped with cheap, rugged gear, troop formations were powerful but inflexible. Command and control was very centralized. Soldiers in the field who saw a target contacted their commanders behind the lines to arrange fire support. Since the genophage, the Krogan can no longer afford the casualties of the old horde attacks. The battle masters are a match for any 10 soldiers of another species. To a battle master, killing is a science. They focus on developing clean, brute force economy of motion that exploits their brutal strength to incapacitate enemies with a swift single blow of overwhelming power. This change of focus from mass unit warfare to maximum efficiency has increased employment demand in the fields of security and muscle for hire. Due to the unsavory reputation of the Krogan, most of these jobs are on the far side of the law. Battle masters are not spit and polished, but they do believe in being well armed and equipped, preferably with a gun for each limb. They are callous and brutal, but methodical and disciplined. They use any means at their disposal to achieve their goals, no matter how reprehensible. Hostage-taking and genocide are acceptable means to ensure a quiet occupation with few Krogan casualties. Biotics are very rare among the Krogan, and those that exist are viewed with suspicion and fear. The Krogan see this aura of fear as a useful quality for an officer and often promote them. Combat drones and other high-tech equipment are likewise in short supply. Krogan military doctrine has a different take on what scouting and reconnaissance means. While other races' scouts prefer stealth and discretion in carrying out their tasks, Krogan scouts instead opt to deal psychological warfare when they find the enemy by way of occasional harassment or intentionally exaggerating their numbers. The reasoning is that it is a lot easier to count enemy numbers when some of them get blown up. The Krogan once possessed a powerful fleet that included many dreadnoughts. Since the end of the Krogan rebellions, however, they have been prohibited from constructing warships. This ban is enforced by the Council Demilitarization Enforcement Mission Arm, which maintains garrisoned outposts throughout the Krogan DMZ. Every few years, another Krogan warlord violates the ban, but usually an alliance of rivals ends his dreams of hegemony before Citadel forces even have to fire a single shot. So that is everything that we know about the Krogan so far. They are by far one of my favorite species in the Milky Way galaxy, just because I find their history and culture so interesting. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video interesting and informative and useful. If you did enjoy it, please hit that like button as always to show your support. I'll be back again next week, guys, with another Mass Effect lore video. Until then, take care, and as always, happy gaming.